Instagrams. What's going on there? What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. Just trying to get set up here. Talking liposuction, fat transfer. Hey, you want to mess with Instagram? See if you can just reboot it and get set up. Hey, welcome. Thank you for stopping in today. We're talking liposuction, fat transfer, but more importantly, I want to talk to those people who have those big hanging bellies that's restricting you, stopping you from, bending forward and touching your toes, putting your shoes on easily. It gets in your way. It gets you out of breath. When you lean forward, it pushes back on your lungs, so you can't take a deep breath. It restricts you, limits your energy, your mobility. You can't move as well. All right. Hey, what's up, Instagram? Finally. So, those people who are restricted by these big bellies, and these are the same people who you've tried diet, you've tried exercise, and you're not able to get the long-term lasting results that you're looking for. Not only that, when you go look for help, you're either turned away or told that your only options are getting these high risk procedures like a tummy tuck or getting a sleeve, which may or may not be a good option for you. But if you want a different option and you don't like the idea of having a huge scar across your belly or getting some sleeve put in or a bypass onto your stomach, which basically makes you malnutritioned. If you don't want those options, I'm here to just share with you that there are other options available, that you are able to get rid of that belly without getting a tummy tuck, so you don't have to have these big scars. And all the pictures that you're going to see behind me today are with no tummy tucks. So it is possible. And the quicker you realize that it is possible, it's going to get you really excited, because no more do you have to go and get these huge cuts, being put to sleep, have these terrible recoveries. You don't have to do that anymore. And things are changing. So even those larger individuals, the ones that you've been turned away and told that you have to lose a substantial amount of weight in order to get anything done, that's just not the case anymore. See, we remove fat for a living. We're sucking fat out of people. And when you suck fat out of people, it's like, I don't care whether you have more or less, it doesn't matter. We're still sucking fat. It's the same fat. And if you have a little bit more, we just suck a little bit more. But the cool thing is that once you remove that fat, the results are amazing at what happens. See, the problem with most doctors is they simply don't have the right techniques to get these kind of results. They don't know what they're doing. They don't realize that this is possible. And so when you get aggressive like this and you're able to do things and take that much fat out of people, the skin always retracts back. Always. There's no maybe, will it, I'm not sure, I'm kind of wondering. No, it always does. Now, how well it retracts back, that's going to be a little bit variable. But it always retracts back. If we do the right technique and we give you the best opportunity, those folds, those hanging belly, it goes away. It goes away on most people. What's up, Stacy? Stacy's one of our best patients ever. What's up, Tricky Mickey? Tricky Mickey, I've been having people tell me that you're their favorite. They like you. I think it's that straightforwardness, like no bullshit. Those same people are the ones that like me, because we just tell it how it is. Okay. Tara's, whatever that number is. How can we have bad reviews? Because when you do over 15,000 procedures, there's going to be a couple people that are unhappy. It's like any other business. And the reality is the people that are typically unhappy publicly, they were just not prepared mentally. They just didn't know what the hell they were getting into. They don't do their research. And if you don't do your research, you're not aware that there are potential complications after these procedures. It's not easy. It's not perfect every time. Everybody's a little bit different. But I think more importantly, what you need to understand is what the potential risks are that you're getting yourself into, and then just be well prepared for those things. So what are the things that we know? We know that after these procedures, you're going to have some bruising, you're going to have some swelling, you're going to have some soreness, you're going to have possibly lightheaded and dizziness after these procedures. It's possible to get infections after these procedures. It's possible to get blood clots after these procedures. All these things are possible. We know it. Now, instead of these things just happening to you, then you get all upset and thinking that, like, oh my God, it happened to me and it's all your fault. It's not. This stuff happens, and it happens, randomly. So the important thing is that you need to do everything that you can possible to try and reduce your risks as much as possible. So let's start with drinking water. After these procedures, we remove large volumes of fat out of your body. So when we do that, it's traumatic to your body. So your body will respond by acting as if it's dehydrated of sorts. Okay, it's not exactly that, but that's how it's acting. So your body you'll experience lightheadedness, dizziness, sometimes fainting. Now, the more aggressive we get with these procedures, the more all of these risk factors are going to be elevated. So beforehand, to prepare for this, you need to be very well hydrated. Drinking water before you come to us, drinking water during the procedure, drinking water after the procedure. And if you do that, a lot of these other issues, the lightheadedness, dizziness, that stuff, it's not even an issue. Blood clots. It's always an issue with every procedure. It's a possibility. So what do? You're going to get stockings to help reduce the risk factors. You're going to walk around regularly to reduce the risk factors. You're going to get lymphatic massages. All these help reduce your risk of bad things happening. After the procedure, you're going to have swelling. Everybody gets swelling. Everybody. Okay, how much swelling you get is going to be variable. Some people are going to get more. Some people are going to get less. Just be prepared. Have compression garments available. We're going to supply garments for you. However, you're going to want to have additional garments to get better compression, because we never know exactly what to prepare for, but you can be prepared with multiple options. So reviews, if you're looking for reviews, well, first of all, you should be looking for real reviews, people that are actual patients of ours, because in a lot of these review sites like Google and Yahoo or whatever, there's competitors there. There's people that have a vested interest to say bad things about us, as with every other business. So a lot of these things, you got to take it with a grain of salt. May or may not be true. What I would suggest is go join our private Facebook group. We have a group that you're going to go on to Facebook. You search for My Shape Lipo Support Group. Within that group, we have actual patients like Stacy right here. Stacy's on right now on Facebook. Tricky Mickey, she's on Facebook. You can connect with these individuals directly through our private Facebook group. In that private Facebook group, it'll allow you to see the pictures of the individuals that they're posting. All these pictures are the pictures that they post. So they're real people, real pictures, and you can communicate with them directly. You can message them directly, and I can't promise that they'll respond to you because they are real people, and it's their choice whether they want to respond to you. However, you have the option and the opportunity to connect with them, so you can get real information about us on real people that with 100% sure that they were actual patients of ours and they had actual experiences with us. And I'll tell you what, it's real people, so you're going to get real stuff, and it's not all perfect, it's not all nice and everything, but it's like, look, we do the best that we can with every situation. We do the best to help you through the process with every situation, and that's all we can do. And sometimes, sometimes people get rubbed the wrong way. It is what it is. But we're always constantly doing the best that we can, and that's all we can do. And if you're not okay with people, doing the best that they can do, and you're expecting like unrealistic expectations, then you're going to be unhappy. You can only do the best. My mindset is I'm always striving to be the best that I can be, get the best possible results, best possible experience. Okay, Rachel says, I wish I could have been watching you for over a year, and I'm trying to save the money. That's awesome. I want to tell you a story. I had a patient yesterday, a young lady. I want to say she was like 26 or something, and she went and got a tummy tuck, 360 lipo, and a BBL about a year ago. And she was unhappy with the results because they simply didn't take out enough fat. They left her very boxy in shape, so they left fullness on the sides and the lower back, all of which meant that the results for the BBL were mediocre, and she just wasn't happy with the lack of curves. She wanted the curves and the hourglass figure and the shaping of the butt, which she never received. So now a year out, and she's already paid for this stuff, having been done somewhere else, and just didn't get the results. Now she had to come to us and do the whole 360 liposuction again, and then fat transfer to the butt. Now, fortunately, we were able to get out a tremendous amount of fat and shape the butt, give the hourglass figure, and do everything that she wanted. We were able to do everything that she wanted. But it just, to me, it sucks that she had to do it twice, right? She had to go somewhere else and make a mistake in order to come get it fixed. And I want to just emphasize the importance of choosing the right place. And obviously we do the type of work that we do, and you can see there's evidence of it, because there's so many different patients that have had these awesome results that it's not a take a picture and we Photoshop it and here it is. That's not the case. These are real people, real pictures, and you can see consistency in results. We're getting similar results, and if you look at the results of the individuals, you'll start to see patterns. People start to look the same. They get the same type of results because we're doing these consistently. And so if you want these type of consistent results, you have to go somewhere where they get consistent results. Otherwise, you're going to go into a place and you're going to pay whatever you pay, and if you're going for the cheapest place, you're going to pay a cheap price, but you don't know what you get. You don't know what you get, and that's the problem. So it's really important that whoever you go to, and then, if you come to me, that's great. I'm happy to help you. We obviously get consistent results, but whoever you choose to go to, you need to go somewhere where they take care of you and they can show you with evidence that, hey, this is what we do on people just like you, your size, your body type, and this is what we're capable of doing. And if you don't see that, then you don't really know. You don't know what they're capable of. And so when I get on these lives, I give you the opportunity to connect with me directly, so you know my mindset, you know the way that I'm thinking, you know what I'm trying to achieve. So on these girls like this, I'm trying to make that fold over belly to disappear, completely gone. That's my goal. Now, maybe I'm not able to accomplish it 100%, but I'm always going towards that direction. I'm going towards getting that fold to go away completely. And even if I fall short, it's a little bit short. Okay, so you got to keep that in your mind. We have specific goals that we're trying to achieve here. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to get out a little bit of fat, I'm going to make a little bit of change. There's no little bit of change. We make big dramatic change. And you can see the smile on their face afterwards, and that's why we do it. Okay. All right, we got some people here. Tricky Mickey getting active. Says you got to update some pictures. Love to see them. Okay, and Ned says, I so want to do this. My hubby says, for what if I don't eat healthy, but I feel it would be a motivator to get healthy. So, Inez, your husband's absolutely right in that you need to get healthy. And doing something like this, it doesn't work as well. It still works, we're still gonna get fat out, but it doesn't work as well, particularly for the long run. It doesn't work as well if you don't change your lifestyle habits, you don't eat a better diet. You're just not gonna get the long-term results unless you commit to yourself. And that's what I have been preaching on these channels and talking to all these people that are interested in these procedures and explaining that it's the importance of you've got to change your lifestyle. That's the key. That's the key. And I think that most of you probably already know that. You probably already know that. And hearing it again will just reconfirm that you got to change your lifestyle, or else you're just going to go up and down, up and down. It's like the yo-yo diet. I know, because I lived it for decades, and I'm sure you have too. You lose weight until you get down to your goal, then you pop back up because you go back to your old habits. Lose weight, and when you change some fad diet or whatever, you stop eating, or exercise for a month, and then pop back up when you go back to your old stuff. So it's about changing and living a lifestyle where you can stay consistent and stop the ups and downs. And the question is, how do you do that? And again, I think you already know. You already know the foods that you're eating that are not good for you. And if you don't know, I'm going to share with you a little bit of some basic stuff. you gotta cut out any drinks that have sugar in them. So I would drink, and from this is just my personal rules. Drink nothing but water. That's it. That your body does not do anything with any other flavors, any of that other stuff that you put in the water. It doesn't help your body at all. So it's empty calories, as they call them in the nutrition industry. They're empty calories. You're ingesting calories that are going to potentially add more fat to your body, that they're adding zero benefit to you. So only water. Okay. The next rule is you have to do something active. Something active. And I don't care what it is, but you have to do something active every day, and stress yourself out to some degree physically. I don't, maybe that's walking, maybe that's your level, but maybe you're jogging, maybe that's your level, maybe you're going to work out at the gym, maybe that's your level, maybe you like to go play basketball, that's your activity. I like to play soccer. You can do whatever you want, but you got to do something, and you got to do it consistently, and do something that gets you out and moving. You got to get your body moving. Eating the right foods, you got to cut out and the other thing you're going to find is that in eating a healthy diet, it's almost more important to cut out stuff than it is to add on the right stuff. Okay, and so there's lots of things that we're eating that are causing the problem. That if we just eliminate those things, and then there's a couple more things, the positive things that we need to add back in. But it's the elimination of the sugary drinks. It's the elimination of the processed sugars. It's elimination of like the white breads and starchy foods. All that stuff is not good for you. The other thing that you may want to be concerned about is the toxins that you get from processed foods. So any of the processed foods, like the stuff that you're buying, that you're counting calories. So if it's got a label on it that says the calories, that's because it was packaged and processed to some degree. And the truth is you really don't know what degree. You don't know what they did. So my rule, I personally, and that's not 100% rule, but the best I try to do is I try to get whole foods. So foods that come like it's just an actual food. There's no label on it. It's like a fruits or vegetables or whatever the case. It's just a package. Package. It's got to be packaged to some degree, right, to keep it. What's up, Tiffany? Snatch you to the gods, trust me. You guys are awesome. What's up, Lorraine, Tiffany? So Inez, get in shape through eating properly. Liposuction is just one part of the process. So you need to continue doing with the diet and exercise stuff, but runs parallel with doing liposuction. So we do the liposuction and you do the diet and exercise lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. It's a more sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And the mindset you should start to get into is that it's always just a slow, steady improvement. So whatever your diet is today, whatever the foods that you're eating today, it's a slow improvement. So slowly start to eliminate the bad stuff and slowly start to add on the good stuff. And you'll find that what caused many of the problems in the past was the bad negative habits that you have throughout your life. And that might be like you're in a bad habit of eating, let's say, sugary foods before you go to bed. So cut that habit off, right? Maybe you're in the habit of eating cookies for lunch, or maybe you're in the habit of eating snacks all day. Whatever your habit is, you need to start eliminating those habits, and it's a slow process. You don't have to change everything overnight. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's not really realistic. So slowly start to eliminate things, and then the cool thing is, as you're improving, you start to see improvement. And so that might be, I know that people like to look at the weight on the scale. I think it's just a number and it's less important, but it gives you that tangible evidence of what you are trying to achieve. I think more importantly is the way that you look. This is Rebecca Rexrow. She's also in the group, so you can find her there. She did 360 lipo and a BBL. But you can see how far that belly hangs over, and afterwards it's not. And she got phenomenal results, and she's just one of many. And if you want to have these kind of results, then you have to do a couple things. You have to take action on your desire. So if you want these kind of results, you have to do the types of things that she has done, that many of these other patients have done, and it's just follow the path. And, it's not, and we're not saying that you have to do liposuction per se, but whatever your path is, if liposuction gives you that big jump start, it gets you forward. And I'll venture to say that I don't think you can achieve the same type of results with non-surgical type results. They're not the same. So diet and exercise by itself, you're going to lose weight, but in most cases you're going to end up being just a smaller version of what you were. So if you're bigger and boxy, and you lose 30, 40, 50 pounds, you're going to be smaller and boxy. It's the same shape but just smaller version of it. Whereas with liposuction, it's totally different. With liposuction, we're physically removing the fat cells, and so we're taking the fat cells and we can carve out the shapes on your body, which is why you can see how these bellies can just disappear, because we're just taking away the fat. Without the fat there's nothing there, so it has to go away. It's like a law of physics. It's gotta happen. There's no way there's no way that we can take away as much fat as we do and you don't get the changes. It doesn't happen, and that's why we're getting them so consistently, because it has to happen. It's like a law of physics. Once you take out that amount of volume, the belly, it always retracts back. It can't hang anymore because there's nothing for gravity to pull on. Okay, what are your thoughts on flavored carbonated water like Lacroix? Again, there's no right answer to any of this stuff. So you're gonna have to you'll do your own research on these things, and you'll figure it out what makes sense to you. Because the truth is like, I don't know. Maybe those flavored waters are right, but the carbonation stuff, I don't know if that's an issue. What kind of the carbonation does to your system, I don't know. But with that said, if I'm going to have anything other than just plain water, I'll have something like that. And I really don't drink many of those things. I'll have actually just the plain sparkling water, I think it's called, with the fizz. If I want a little bit of something, going on in my mouth. But for the most part, I drink water and I chug it. I drink a lot of water. You can't be healthy unless you're drinking a lot of water. It just doesn't work. Our bodies are, upwards of 80% water. And if you're not drinking plenty of water, the whole system doesn't work. The water is like the lubricant, the oil. Imagine if you don't have oil in your car, eventually the engine's going to seize, and your bodies are exactly the same way. If you don't have water, you don't have the lubricant, the oils in your system making everything work. If you don't have that, nothing works. And in fact, not that it doesn't work, it just doesn't work well. So imagine your body's metabolism. You're like, oh, my metabolism's slowing down. Well, maybe it's not that your metabolism's slowing down. Maybe that you're dehydrated chronically, and all your cleansing organs, the ones that are supposed to cleanse out all the garbage in your body, maybe they're all clogged up because you're so dehydrated. And maybe that's the reason why they're not working properly, which means that your metabolism slows down and nothing in your body functions properly. I'm telling you, water is extremely, extremely important, and it's the first easy thing that you can change right now. Go buy one of these big bottles. Speaking of which, can you grab my bottle, please? Grab one of those big bottles, and I like the ones that are chugging, not the sipping ones. Sipping ones are for people that don't drink that much water. And you're never gonna sip enough water. You can't just, even if you're constantly sipping, you really need to chug this stuff. And I highly suggest you got to get the water in early in the day. So load up early in the morning, because towards the end of the day, I don't like, when I drink a lot, I end up going to the bathroom regularly, and it would, you're gonna end up getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anyways. But if you can reduce that a little bit by just drinking a little bit less towards the end of the day, that's personally what I do. Yeah, Corinne, my wife, is on here. She says I'm a fruit monster. I do eat a lot of fruit: bananas, oranges, apples, blueberries. Blueberries, strawberries, any of the berries are really good for inflammation. So in many of the issues that we have with our body are due to inflammation. So when you get stiff joints and it's difficult for you to move, that's inflammation. Diabetes is an inflammation base. It starts on a microscopic level where you get inflammation of the islet cells, which causes diabetes. So if you can address some of the inflammation in your body, you can help improve the function of all of your systems. All right, and as you hear me, good. So I can tell you the people that struggle after this procedure, the people that perhaps they leave negative reviews saying they didn't get results, or the people that a year after the procedure they're like it just came back, or whatever. The ones that are complaining, it's the people that don't follow the rules. They don't change their lifestyle. They don't improve themselves. They expect someone else to improve them. And here's the thing, this is the big wake-up call here, is this shit don't work if you don't work. Nothing does. If you don't do the work yourself, nothing's going to work for you. You're not going to learn anything from the books that you don't read. Okay? And this is just basic logic here. You're not going to get the body that you want unless you work for yourself. You have to pay for it, and it's not financially. It's not financially. There's a cost to it, but it's not just financial. With liposuction, we can help you get closer to where you want to be. In fact, maybe we get you there. But the only way for you to maintain the results is you got to do the work. When you leave our office, we don't control anything. It's all up to you. Okay. I'm answering some questions here on YouTube. Thank you for all your help, information. I'm very interested. I've changed lifestyle habits, eating habits. I just can't get rid of my fupa. Is there a financing? I don't have any medical insurance, so I would have to pay out of pocket. Well, so there is no insurance that covers liposuction. There are finance companies that you can utilize. So if you have good credit, you can get financing. If you don't have good credit, you can still get financing. You just need to get someone as a co-signer. So we can definitely help you. Let's see, let me just. Okay, yeah, you can't get rid of the fupa. It's common, and again, like I said, even if you lose the weight, you're just gonna typically be a smaller version of what you are. So with the liposuction, it's nice because we can physically remove that fat. And so here's the way that your body works is you're gonna gain and lose weight based off the fat cells themselves. They shrink when you get smaller. The same cells, they expand when you get bigger. They shrink when you get smaller. They expand when you get bigger. Well, what happens if you remove those fat cells through liposuction? The fat cells where you have them are going to expand and shrink. Same thing. But if you don't have them there, they can't go through that process anymore. It's permanently gone. When we remove it with liposuction, it's permanently gone. The body does not reproduce fat cells. At least that's what the studies say. So the only way for you to get bigger in the area that we treat is because there's a small amount of fat cells. Like, let's say, and these aren't the exact numbers, but let's say we remove 80% of the fat cells in there, so now you only have 20% of the fat cells left to go through this expansion and contraction process. So again, the ideal situation is that you stop this expansion contraction process by living a healthier lifestyle. Okay, that's ideal. Stop going through this wave of ups and downs, and I gain weight, I lose weight, I gain weight, I lose weight. Stop. You got to stop the cycle. And how do you stop the cycle? You got to change the habits that are causing the cycle. There's certain habits, there's certain things that you're doing, whether it's the food that you eat, the exercises that you're doing, the lifestyle that you're living. You got to start identifying in yourself, because we're all different. I don't know what you're doing exactly, but you got to identify in yourself. Where are the negative things that you're doing? And where are the positive things that you're doing? Start eliminating the negative and adding on more positive. It's just like simple basic stuff. And it sounds easy, and it is easy. It's easy to do, but the problem is it's also easy to not do. And that's where people fall short. Like, oh, all I have to do is drink water? Yeah. Okay. Well, then how come people don't do it all the time? How come people don't, they're chronically dehydrated. They're chronically living in a state where their body is like, it's not flowing. There's no fluidity. Imagine if you have a smaller volume of blood in your body because you don't drink enough fluids. Those cells, those blood cells, start to get concentrated. Once they get concentrated, imagine you get a little bit older, you've built up a little plaque in your arteries, and that sludge, because now that it's more viscous or thicker, the blood is, and now it goes through and it hits this little spot where there's of some plaque, and then now you have a heart attack. This happens as we get older, right? All of us. I'm sure you know people who have had heart attacks. You've had people who have high blood pressure. People who have diabetes. And as we get older, I'm in my 40s now, and as we get into our 40s and 50s, a lot of the consequences of actions that we did when we were younger now start to come bite us in the ass. And so, like for example, you could smoke for 20 years and have no problems at all, but then all of a sudden after 20, 30 years, you start getting heart conditions, you're getting blood pressure issues, you're getting lung issues, you're getting all kinds of stuff. Well, it accumulates over time. And what I realized is that our bodies are really just accumulations of the things that we have done in the past. Just accumulations. And as we eat more, our body accumulates and grows more. And that the quality of our tissue, the quality of our body, the quality of the cells at a cellular level is going to be dependent on the quality of the food that we're intaking. Because what happens is the food that we intake, it breaks down into its little small components. Think about building blocks. And those little building blocks then get utilized all throughout our body. It's really an amazing process of what happens, but it gets utilized. And so what if you're eating garbage? You're eating like chicken nuggets, Big Macs, really greasy foods, things that really don't have nutritional value, but you eat them because they taste good. Those type of things, if those break down and they're your building blocks, imagine it's like you're building blocks with like styrofoam, right? It might stand up for now, but as soon as something like, well, let's say coronavirus comes around, you have a terrible foundation, your house is built out of styrofoams, and you get whacked right over. Could that happen? Sure, of course. It's happening now, right? The people that aren't healthy, they're suffering. They're worried. They're really worried about getting this Omicron or Delta virus or whatever they're calling it now. You're worried because you feel like you're at risk. You're not healthy. So moving forward with your life, you have to start layering on positive habits, positive things that you're doing, which will continue to improve and elevate you. And it's a slow process. It doesn't have to happen overnight. But the key is, and what you're going to find is that your confidence will continue to rise every time you have a small success. So the small success is whether maybe you're able to do more activities where you're able to run, or you're able to spend time with your kids, or you're able to go up these stairs for the first time without being out of breath, or you're able to tie your shoes for the first time without being, huffing and puffing because you had to hold your breath while it happened. We got some active people on YouTube. Okay, so Care Credit, we don't carry Care Credit. There is a finance company though. Okay, Evangelist says, thanks for information. Where is the nearest location to Alabama? So the nearest location to Alabama is Las Vegas. That's where we're located. I'm one person. I have a partner, Kale, who helps me out, but it's us. So you got to come to us. And Vegas is the place, but it's a short flight from anywhere. Vegas is nice because it's cheap flights usually from pretty much anywhere. Okay, how do you get rid of after lipo lumps? It's a good question. It depends what they're caused from. Many times the lumps can be caused from irregularities in the healing process, at which case what happens is the garments themselves will cause irregularities, and then the body forms scar tissue in that position, which could lead to scar tissue lumps, and that could give you this lumpy look to it. The first thing to avoid this is getting the smooth results from the beginning. So if you can imagine, the skin is lying on top of whatever's underneath. And so there's going to be a fat layer underneath, and when we remove through liposuction, we're going to remove the fat. Now the goal is we have a nice, perfect, thin layer that is uniform throughout, because if it's not uniform, what happens is you're going to get indentations. Okay, so those indentations are caused from a lack of density, so you have less fat in one area, more fat in another area, so you got indent or a bump, depending on whether there's more or less fat. So the key is to get the smoothest results, you have to get smooth results all the way throughout, which means the uniformity and the removal of fat. That's the number one thing. Then the irregularities can be caused, lumps can be caused afterwards in the healing process from the scar tissue itself. And that's something that the individual controls, and it's more about keeping smooth results during the healing process. And you can utilize such tools as like the lipo board or lipo foam. Or there's other things that disperse the pressure more evenly, so you get even results. Now, let's say you start to form these lumps and bumps after the healing process. Things like lymphatic massages may be beneficial. Massages that break up that connective tissue, break up that scar tissue that's formed, to try and get this smoother results. There are also, now let's say let's fast forward 2, 3, 6 months even, and you have lumps, and these are typically from the scars or irregularities caused during the liposuction. Now, how do you get that out? There are non-surgical techniques that you can utilize, like radio frequency based technologies. We use a Venus Legacy machine at our house, at our office. The Venus Legacy uses radio frequency and magnetic resonance not MRI, but magnetic pulse energy to help break down the tissue and help rebuild new tissue. And so this will help to smooth out the lumps and bumps after procedures, like, so I'd say 3 to 6 months after a procedure. But again, the goal is hopefully we get it right the first time, and we're not causing the problem to begin with. And that's ultimately the number one thing, is just don't cause the problem to begin with. Okay, what's the recovery time for Lipo 360? So yeah, someone's trying to answer on here. You can give generic, terms, and the recovery is 6 weeks. That's what someone said, and full results by 2 to 3 months. But here's the truth: the fat's gone immediately, so you're going to see results immediately. You're going to be smaller immediately, and then after that, you're going to start to swell up. So that the results get a little bit less, less apparent, kind of a little bit fuzzy as you fill in with the swelling. So how well you keep the compression on will determine then how quickly you start to see better results. As the swelling goes down, and that time period could be a matter of weeks, or it could be a matter of months. Everybody's a little bit different. Many times you'll have residual swelling for extended periods of time, sometimes 6, 8 months, a year afterwards. This is a process type photo, so you can see how she's kind of phased through, and immediately after the procedure, she's smaller, but she's swollen, still very swollen here. And then afterwards, that fold went away. Okay, you can see this. So this is a process. So initially after the procedure, you're smaller because the fat's gone, and then you swell up, and then the swelling goes down. Now that process, again, it could take weeks, it could take months, but in your mind and preparation and anticipation, expect that it's going to take longer. And if you expect that it's going to take longer, you're not surprised. And if it takes shorter, then now you're happy, right? So anticipation, expect that it'll take longer, expect it'll be more difficult. Just do what's necessary for yourself. Okay, Lorraine says definitely start slow. In 2020, she lost 40 pounds. This was a kickstart in a healthier direction. And she came to My Shape Lipo, and it was like icing on the cake. Best thing she's ever done. That's an awesome story. Mustang Sally says no flavoring my water with Fireball. That's funny. I'm gonna laugh at that. That's a good one. Some people like to use, they have like amino acid stuff that you can add to your water, so it gives some type of flavoring. Some people suggest lemon, squeezing some lemon into the water. If you need some flavoring, I'm just, personally, I just I like water, and I've gotten used to it because that's all I drink. And you just, you kind of, your body, your mind, everything accommodates to the things that you do. So you just have to start these habits and then stick through. So the studies, the science says that in our brain, every time we do something, it's like a pattern. It creates like a, let's say, a neural connection, a connection in our brain, right? And every time we do once, we get one neural connection. We do it again, we get two neural connections. We do it 3 times, we get all the repetitions. The more repetitions you get more neural connections. And think of these like strands to a rope. The more strands to the rope, the stronger it gets. The more neural connections, the stronger that habit is. And the stronger that habit is, it just becomes autopilot for you. So you don't even have to think about it once you have enough of these neural connections, once you've done enough repetitions. So the question is, how long does that take? Right? How long does it take to form a habit? So they did studies on this, and the studies showed that there was a time frame was between 30 and 60 days, with a mean around 45 days. So what I do, for me personally, I overshoot. And what I mean by that is that when I am adding on new healthy habits, I will be committed to do that habit for 60 days. And after 60 days, if I see results, I just keep going. If I don't see results, my mind will tell me this is not working for you, you can stop. And you just stop. You'll know. It'll be obvious. If you keep going, then it should be easy because you've stuck to it. But it's the key is you have to be disciplined for the 30 to 60 days. That's the key if you want to build these habits. Hope says, I drank more than a gallon in less than 24 hours. That's good. So the rules on the water that I've heard, and again, these are just generic rules, but the rules would be drinking half of your body weight in ounces. So say you weigh 100 pounds, then you drink 50 ounces of water. So half of your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to drink 100 ounces of water every day. Bring on the gallons. I'm telling you, water, it's so simple. It's so simple. You just got to drink more water. Okay, so you can do lipo and a BBL at the same time. If so, what's the downtime? So you have to do liposuction at the same time when you do a BBL. BBL, Brazilian butt lift, is all it is it consists of liposuction, of removing the fat from where it doesn't belong, and fat transfer is adding that fat back in. But you got to remove the fat to put the fat back in. It's redistribution of the fat. That's what a BBL is. So typically I like to take fat around the waistline, ideally, and that allows me to shape the butt, create this natural arch to your lower back, and it makes the butt pop out by taking the fat in the lower back. And we add in the volume. So once we take that fat out of there, we're gonna take it back and inject it back in and expand out the volume of the butt. And so the downtime, after the fat transfer, the limitation really is that you're going to want to keep pressure off the area. So the recommendations are no pressure for 2 weeks and then limited pressure for 2 months. The studies showed that after fat transfer that you would have the maximum loss of fat within the first 2 weeks. So keeping the pressure off the butt for the first 2 weeks is pivotal. You gotta do the best that you can. And then limited pressure for 2 months. So the fat loss continued for up to 2 months, and 2 months was the let's say 85-90% of the fat was lost in the first 2 months, and then beyond that it continued to have a slow fat loss for about the total of 6 months post-op. So our rules, which we implement, is the 2 weeks of no pressure. That's the critical zone, and 2 weeks of limited pressure. Now, define limited pressure. What does limited pressure mean? Limited pressure means that you're going to do the best that you can to keep pressure off of it. And if you have to sit, make it limited, as little as possible. And here's the truth. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, let's say you sit on it for 5 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. No one's going to know. The only way that you're going to know is by not getting the results. So it's important that you follow the rules. People that get the best results, they follow the rules the best that they can. Okay. Okay, long after lipo, can I start getting a massage? Oh, how long after lipo? I'm guessing you asked. So, you can get a massage the next day. These massages, the lymphatic massages, you can get them and they're beneficial. It just depends on your situation. It may be more beneficial in a short period of time. Uh, you know, but you got to see how your body responds. Some people, you may feel like you need it. Some people might feel like you don't need it. Everyone's a little bit different. I don't think there's any right answer to this. But you can get a massage the day after, or you can wait, 2 or 3 days after. You can get them every couple days, or you can get them every week. There's no right answer. You got to figure out what works for you. But what you're going to find is when you do it, you'll get whatever results you get afterwards. You'll feel like it improves, or you'll feel like it makes no difference. If you feel like it improves, you're going to do it more often. If you feel like it makes no difference, you probably won't do it anymore. Okay, Rosario, where can you read more? I like that. I like readers. I've kind of banked on the idea that most people don't like to read, so we've been creating these videos, and that's why I go live, so you can hear me speaking specifically about this stuff. And on our website, we put a lot of videos for frequently asked questions. But reading, we do have some of the written stuff on our website. We have the written stuff on our website, right?
Correct.
Yeah. We put it, we try to put the stuff in written form. We try to put it in video format, but obviously, there's always going to be stuff that we miss. So if you're ready, and hopefully you'll get enough information from the videos, you'll get enough information from these lives that you feel somewhat confident moving forward. And the next step, if you're ready to move forward, would be getting your consultation. When you get a consultation, we have these free consultations and a paid consultation. The free consultation, we're booked out for a couple months on those. There's so many people that want free consultations, we're behind. So if you're serious about the liposuction, you're serious about getting these procedures done quicker, then the paid consultation will allow you to jump the line. It's $100. You'll get to meet directly with me or Kale, and we'll evaluate pictures of you and devise a plan based off of what your desires are. And so, and again, at the consultation time is the time that we can explain in more detail and answer whatever questions you might have. Okay, I never thought about that limiting pressure after the BBL, but it makes so much sense. Yeah, so again, to further on that point, the reasons why you don't put pressure on it is, think about this. After you put the fat in there, the body has to recreate a blood flow. They call it angiogenesis, so the building of new blood supply for that fat. The blood supply is the oxygen and nutrients that comes in and feeds the fat. So without the new blood supply, the fat will essentially just die off. So imagine it's like you plant the seeds, but you never watered it. You never gave it sunshine. So with this, we're planting the fat into that area, and you have to water it. Well, how do you water it? You water it with your blood. The blood needs to come in there. But what happens when you put compression on it, just like any other blood vessel in your body, like if you put pressure on that area, not even that much pressure, a very little amount of pressure will cut off the blood supply to an area. And in the case of the fat cells, if the fat cells are not getting the blood supply, then the fat ends up dying off. And so that's why there's going to be a wide range of amounts of fat that survive afterwards. Some people just don't follow the rules. In fact, I have many patients that go down to Mexico and they get liposuction down there and fat transfer. And then in Mexico, they put compression garments on after fat transfer. And those people get almost no results. So, and I've seen that time and time again because they come to me to fix it. And, it's disappointing that I don't know what rules they're following down there, but they're not following the right rules and people aren't getting results. So if you follow these rules, there's no guarantee, but you're going to increase the odds. And that's what we're trying to do, is just increase the odds of getting the results that we want. Okay. Yeah, greasy food's a no-go. Okay, how many liters of fat do you remove? So we don't like to talk about specifically liters. However, we're going after results. So honestly, you can calculate the liters afterwards, but I do the job that I want to do. I make these results happen, And then I look up and like, oh, this is how many liters we got. So it's not like I'm going in there like I have to take out a certain amount of liters, or yay, I took out a certain number of liters. That's not the goal at all. You're missing the boat here. We're going after results. So we need to get the results, and we need to get out enough fat to do that, and that's what we do. So, be less worried about the volume, be less worried about any weight loss afterwards, because that stuff's really not important. Those are measures, but they're not important, because the results, the final results, the way you look, the way you feel afterwards, that's what's important. Rosario, I'm sorry, I can't message everybody like that. You can go to our website. It's myshapelipo.com. Up in our profile, there's access there. And if you're interested, the next step is getting your consultation. So there's a link up in the post in Facebook. You can click on the link, and that'll allow you to upload photos and get the expedited consultation. And at that point, that's where we'll answer all your questions, or evaluate your situation, look at the pictures, and determine a plan. And you'll get your quote as well. Stacy's in full force, helping everyone. I've talked about it in the past about the importance of paying it forward and helping other people. And Stacy is she's the epitome of what I'm talking about here. And Stacy's had multiple procedures at My Shape Lipo. She's got amazing results, but she's really grabbed onto this idea that of living your best life, and doing all the things that are going to be in your best interest. So that's eating right, that's exercising, that's drinking water, and educating yourself on how you can get better. Stacy is prime example. And what she's doing now is that since she's already learned how to do these things, she's done the research, it's easy for her. And now she's able to pass that knowledge on to other people. And that's where the paying it forward. And in paying it forward and helping other people, you gain your value. People want to hear from you. You have something to offer. And when you're able to help other people, it makes you feel better. So you give more, you get back. You give more, you get back. You give your help to other people, and it makes you feel really good about yourself. And it makes you feel like now these people are looking up to you because you're an example for them. And it's exciting, it's fun, and that's why she's all over it. She wants to help people because that's what we do. We help people and we make a difference. We're changing people's lives. Gabriela, I like the idea of being awake during the procedure. What about pain during the procedure? So pain is going to be variable, as with anything. So the numbing process, so the way that this works, the being awake during the procedure, first of all, the techniques that we utilize is called a tumescent technique, and so we're injecting numbing fluid only in the layer that in the fat layer that we're treating. So the medication does not go systemically. And so that's important, because when the medication goes systemically, it limits on how much you can do, because the systemic medication like we inject here, if it starts to affect all other aspects of your body, that can cause problems. So we want to isolate the risk. We keep everything locally right in this one area. We put the medication in, we suck it back out. Okay? And so the process of getting the numbing medication in there, that's when you feel this weird pinching, it's a bizarre sensation. I've had it myself. It's a bizarre sensation. Some people experience this as painful, some people experience this as laughing, and then there's everything in between. Okay, so you can, trust me, you can read reviews of people that felt like it was painful, and they'll make it sound like it's the absolute worst thing in the world with the language that they utilize. But there's also people that laugh, that it's no big deal, that they don't feel much of anything. That's the other spectrum, the other side of the coin. And then the truth is that there's everything in between. There's people that experience pain, there's people that experience no pain, but then there's people that experience everything in between, and likely you'll fall somewhere in between. But once you get past that part, the numbing medication kicks in, and when we start removing the fat through the liposuction, the area should be numb. And when I say should be, it works most of the time. But in some cases, just as we all have different tolerances to medication, so this will be very clear and obvious when you start thinking about our individual tolerances to alcohol. So some people might get drunk off of 1 drink, some people might get drunk off of 5 drinks. Okay, this is the same thing with this numbing medication. Some people might need more, some people might need less. and we don't know who you are. All we can do is adjust to the situation. So if you're experiencing more pain, we put more numbing medication. Okay, fair enough. Now, my point with all this stuff is, if you're going to anticipate something, then why would you anticipate the worst? You plan for the worst, but you anticipate good. You anticipate having great results, but just be prepared for the worst. Because you're going to drive yourself crazy thinking about, oh my gosh, could I die? Could this happen? Could that happen? All these bad things. Yes, there's possibility of bad things. And if you're only focused on that, you're going to start moving towards those things. But what you need to do is start preparing to have great results. Start doing the things to keep yourself away from bad stuff. And if that means drinking more water, getting up, walking around, getting good compression garments, getting lymphatic massages, these are all things that you can do to improve the results, improve your experience. Okay, we got a couple more minutes. So the price for 360 lipo is going to be variable. Depends on the individuals. We have people that are 300 pounds, and we have people that are 100 pounds, and the price is going to be different for each of those. In order to get the quote for your specific situation, you're going to need to get a consultation. So schedule the consultation. We'll review the pictures. We'll figure out a plan for you and make it happen. Stacy asked if I'm cold. You know, today is actually warmer here in Vegas. I'm usually super cold, but it's actually warmer here in Vegas. Is there a standard BMI? You know, we're not using the BMI for any restrictive reasons at this point. So there's no restrictions. There's no BMI limits. There's nothing regarding BMI. I've been trying to get a consultation and no reply. That's really easy. There's a paid consultation, and you can get in tomorrow if you want. You can expedite. And again, it gets with me directly. I don't do the free consultations. The free consultations are done by our staff, and there's like literally you're getting in line, and there's like 500 people right now that we're trying to get caught up on. And those are the people, most cases, they just want a price, they're tire kicking, they're not really serious about liposuction with us, or they're thinking, 6-8 months down the road. But if you're serious and you're ready to go now, just pay the $100, get the paid consultation. You'll get in very quickly, and we can get you in scheduled for the procedure quickly as well. So it's just $100, and it comes off your procedure costs. So if you're serious, it shouldn't make a big deal. But usually the people that want the free consultations are not really that serious. They're just looking for price. Okay, Stacy's doling out her meal plan she's doing. I think Stacy's planning for success, and that's where the meal plan comes in. When if you struggle with the food that you're eating, you have to plan for success, and that might be meal prepping. I personally, what I do is I purchase pre-prepared meals. There's services now, companies that do this, and it's healthy food. I get a vegan diet, and it's prepared for me, and every week it's delivered in pre-packaged containers of food. It's already made for me. All I have to do is heat it up. And what that's done is it's completely eliminated the concern for me, like, what am I gonna have for dinner tonight? I don't have to think about that at all. Prepping my food is super easy. Cleaning up, it's super easy. If you make it easy to succeed, you will. It's the people that, if you make these complex rules and it's really difficult, I gotta follow this and this, and like I gotta track everything, and I gotta look at labels, and if you make it complex, you're never gonna succeed. I mean, maybe you will, but I would never succeed. So in my mindset, I'm like, make this as easy as possible to succeed, and you're going to. All right. Stacy's awesome. Thank you, Stacy, so much for helping people out. I hope you get the appreciation from them, but I'll tell you all the time, I really appreciate you. A gallon a day. So the rule was that I stated previously is half of your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to drink 100 ounces a day. So and that's a lot of water. You got to chug that. You got to drink fast and lots of it. You say it's called common sense. It would be called common sense, except it's not that common. It's funny how that works, right? What are the risks for lipo? So when you get liposuction, there's risks and things that we are concerned about. So you have to be healthy to get the procedure, and that doesn't mean that you have to have no problems, health problems. It means that whatever your health problems are, they have to be managed. So say you're diabetic, you can still get liposuction. It has to be managed well. So your blood sugars have to be controlled. If you have high blood pressure, you can still get liposuction. It just has to be managed with medication and it has to be well controlled. So you have to be healthy enough for the procedure. Now, following the procedure, some of the concerns afterwards, some of the things that you want to be concerned about is it's always possible to get an infection. This is probably the most common thing, even though it's only about 1% of the people get an infection. But infection is definitely something that you need to be concerned about. And how can you improve your situation and get your wounds to heal? Eating proper nutrition, getting a good vitamin, multivitamin, keeping the wounds clean and dry on a daily basis, 2-3 times a day, cleaning and drying your wounds, keeping them protected. Many times what I see is the people that get infections is because their garments or their pants or something is rubbing on one of the wounds, which makes it so the wound never heals. And if you're wearing like sweaty stuff that is keeping a warm, moist environment, then it's prone to get an infection. And if there's any opening of the wound, say you get some irritation from rubbing, you can get an infection. And this could happen months after the procedure. If you open up the wound, it's something that you really have to stay on top of and keep everything clean and dry and protected. Okay, what do you determine if you have to complete multiple sessions in high volume lipo? I'm not sure what the question is, but for larger individuals, we do break it into, and I'll say smaller procedures, but certainly not smaller procedures. Larger individuals, we're going to get out the maximum amount of fat. However, we have to restrict it to a specific area so we can maximize. So what we do is like this individual here, we treat the front of the abdomen, where we take off the maximum amount of fat that we can, which allows that fold to go away. And the goal is for the fold to go away when we're treating the front of the abdomen. Now, we got out so much fat here and in the front of the abdomen that we hit our limits. We won't be on the limits of the amount of fat that we're supposed to take out. We won't be close to the limit of the amount of medication that we're supposed to utilize. So we have restrictions. And so the goal is we need to try and isolate and figure out where can we take the maximum amount of fat out, get the biggest, most dramatic changes while keeping it safe. And so larger individuals, it's got to be a step process. So we'll treat the front of the abdomen first, make that fold go away completely, make your belly flatter, make it so when you turn to the side, your breasts are sticking out further than your belly. This is key, certain proportions. So once we solve that problem, then you're going to come back and we'll finish the 360. And we'll do, the waist where we create the hourglass figure. We treat that lower back to create that arch to the lower back and make the butt pop out. So it's a step process. And this is why we utilize the term journeys. It's a journey. It's not a one-time hit and get this done and it's all over. It's to get the procedure, continually lifestyle changes. And if you have other things that you want to treat, it's a step process. You get it done. And sometimes people want to get this done real quickly. And other times you can draw it out over years. It's just a step, just one step at a time. Say an old Chinese proverb, the 1,000-mile race begins with the first step. So it's a long race, this life of ours. And don't be in such a rush to get to the end, because I'll tell you what happens at the end. None of us make it out alive. None of us. So stop being in such a rush to get to the end. It's a journey. It's the journey that you need to enjoy and improve. That's where the lessons are every day. Okay, you contacted the office for a paid consultation. Aisha, you don't have to contact the office. It's a link. Go to our website, myshapelipo.com. There's a link there. You click on the link and you can upload photos and enter all your information to and pay for it right there. You don't have to do anything with our office. It's just completely automated. And even if you call the office, they're going to send you the link. They'll text it to you. But it's the same link. Okay, why do lipo burns occur? So lipo burns occur typically when people are wearing the compression garments and the compression garments are too tight. And this will happen when you wear any type of bandage. The bandage, if it's too tight, it compresses and it'll compress the blood vessels. And if there's no blood coming to the area could die off. And this happens with skin. So if you put too much compression on an area and the skin, there's no blood flow coming to the skin, the skin will eventually necrose or die, and you get what they're calling now lipo burns. But what really happens is, and I see this more, it's more on larger individuals that have like all these folds and stuff, and the garments tend to fold up and put more compression within that fold, and it puts like point compression right on the spot, which ends up causing the skin to necrose or die, and people develop these wounds or burns. It's not really a burn, it just looks like a burn and is treated like a burn because essentially the skin is killed off. So to avoid that, you're going to keep even compression and ensure that there's not too much compression in one spot. So that's how you avoid getting these lipo burns. And again, this is just one possibility. It's possible for it to happen on everybody. So you have to do the things that are necessary to make sure that it doesn't happen. And it's not that difficult to avoid these things. You just have to be aware of what you're trying to avoid. And once you're aware, you can do it. Okay, do you inject a numbing solution all at once or an area at a time? Carlovet, so the numbing medication is injected in the beginning. This is the first step. We injected in all the areas that we were treating. We injected all at once. And the advantage of what that does is then the stuff that we initially inject, it may take 15-20 minutes to finish the numbing process. So the stuff that we initially inject had 15-20 minutes to sit. And then all the stuff as we get to it, we'll slowly get to it, but it's had 20-30 minutes to sit and allow for the body to accommodate the numbing fluids. Gigi Herrera says the pain is minimal. I was laughing during my procedure. See, I told you, I'm not lying. Okay, non-paid consultations, you don't review that. Other staff does. So I'll look at the pictures, but I'll just tell them what I want, and then they'll deliver it. So they're delivering the consultation to you. And just so you guys are aware, the free consultations, the reason why I don't do those anymore is because it was just like, I was doing 100 consultations and so few people were scheduling out of those. They were just like I call them, they're like tire kickers. They're just trying to get pricing. And my time is valuable. And so I'm not going to give it away for free. So if you want me, you pay for it, and I'll show up for those, and no problem. I'd love to help you. And as it turns out, the people that actually pay for it, they're the serious ones. And I love helping people that are serious. I'm looking to change your life. That's my goal. What's the downtime? Everyone's a little bit different. A sedentary type job, most people are able to get back within 3 days to 5 days for a sedentary type job. Aisha, you said it didn't work. Well, I'm not sure how it's not working. I mean, we haven't had the issues, and we've been running tests. Those consultation forms seem to be working. Okay. How long do you need to stay in the city after the procedure? So the procedure we recommend, so first of all, about 80% of our patients are flying in from out of state, so we try and make the process as easy as possible. So you're going to fly in the night before the procedure. Make sure you show up the day of the procedure on time, especially if right now you're getting flights that are being canceled. So if your flight gets canceled and you can't get to the procedure the day of the procedure, then you forfeit your funds. The way it's not a good thing. So show up early, get out here early on time, so you can be at your procedure. Then we recommend staying at least 48 hours after the procedure. However, some people may consider staying longer for safety reasons. Okay, if I pay for a consultation, is it possible to have the procedure done next week? I'm not doing procedures next week, so it'll be what is now? Is it January now? So it'll be like the first week in February that we'll be doing procedures again. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here today. If you are just sick and tired of your situation and you're ready to change, I'm looking for those individuals that are ready to transform their lives. But it's not just me. I need you to be ready for the change. And you have to implement the lifestyle changes in order to get the best possible result. So I want those people that are right on the cusp. You're ready to change everything, ready to make a difference, ready for that life transformation. Those are the people that I really want to talk to. And if you're ready, the next step is getting that consultation. Up on Facebook, you can click on the link in the post. On Instagram, the link should be up in the profile, and as well as on YouTube. If you can't find it there for whatever reason, it's on our website at myshapelipo.com. So fill out the consultation form, submit photos, and pay for the consultation, and we'll get you taken care of. So once you get that consultation, you're going to get your price. Once you get your price, you can place the deposit next. The deposit is 25% deposit. And once you place a deposit, it allows you to pick a date and time on our calendar. And once you pick that date and time on our calendar, then you make your travel arrangements and get everything set up. Okay, Hope says, I've been ready since I saw Chunky get her procedure. That was a long time ago. You've been around for a while. Well, thank you for jumping on. I hope you have a fantastic day, and if you have more questions, I'll be back probably on Monday of next week here answering questions for you. Sign up for that consultation. That's really your next step for getting your pricing and figuring out what the plan is for you. So thank you again, and I will see you next time.